Not everybody can answer their phone all the time, and a lot of businesses even decided they don't want to answer their phone. I always get a kick out of that. Somebody's calling to do business. I always like to rip on Comcast because, we actually switched to Frontier. We were one of those lucky people who got FiOS put in our streets. Haven't had a problem since. But, companies like Comcast or some of these big companies, it's amazing how you can call to give them money and they don't answer the phone to take it. It doesn't seem like a very good way to do business. Mike Labaw joins us, president and founder of Sound Telecom, provider of telephone answering, call center, and cloud-based communication services, headquartered right here in Seattle. They're also a 3-time Inc. 5000 winner, serving thousands of customers throughout the United States. Well, first of all, welcome, Mike. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I guess your business was built on the entire premise that people want to actually get somebody on the other end of the phone when they call.
That's right, yes.
And, you've been in this business 25 years. Didn't people answer their phones 25 years ago? More than now?
Yeah, that was before voicemail. And, of course, at the time that voicemail came out, a lot of people said, well, that's the end of your industry. But actually, it's grown significantly since then. And we take things like voicemail and combine them with the live answering.
Well, again, it's kind of giving customers what they want. Now, you've actually used Trade. We were just talking with Cameron Johnson of iTex, and you've been a Trade member for 25 years. How has that been successful for you? Because, we talked a little about the business side of it. We talked about the personal side of it.
Well, it's been great for us. We're primarily business-to-business type of company. And
I figure you got to be a pretty big baller to have a call center answering your personal phone.
So what we've done with it is we've really taken excess capacity in our call center and our telephone answering service area of our business, and we've utilized that for other companies that want to utilize our services. And then we in turn have been able to save cash and use cash for other things and use Trade for things that we'd typically be spending cash on.
Yeah, and in fact, you've even used it for even things like charity.
Yeah, one of the really nice things for us is we've been able to give significant amounts to large charities like Feed the Children and things that are important to our corporate culture.
Very cool. So, Mike, let's get into a little bit more about your company because, we talked about it's a little bit more business to business unless, well, I don't know. I'd love to have a call center answer my phone, but I don't think I'm going to get there anytime soon. But with what you guys are doing, there are so many people out there, so many companies that have, you talked about voicemail being the end, but they've come to rely on the phone tree in some ways. Are you guys the anti-phone tree?
Well, no, there are applications that work well for the phone tree type of thing. I think when you're disseminating information, it works pretty well, but you have to be careful with that. You have the kind of situation where press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 98 for that, and then press 99 if you want to hear it again. Yeah. But a lot of times it really depends on what the company wants to convey to their customer. And I really kind of bring it all to how you want to brand your phones. What's important to you and the image of your company.
We'll talk more about that because, I think that's a really interesting concept. In some ways, because that person on the phone is not it's not your secretary. It's your frontline marketing person.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, branding is every impression that you make on your company or on your customer or your caller or whatever. And a lot of times businesses will spend a small fortune on their branding, business cards, things like their logos and everything that that makes that impression, and they'll put their phones as an afterthought. You see that in small businesses and you see it in large businesses. So really what you don't want to do is have your customer call into a voicemail jail, get frustrated with that process when you can have a better image. So we really look at what our job is to professionally brand telephone answering for our clients.
And that seems to me like it would be a huge value because I know every single person knows the companies that they call and they get frustrated. They're frustrated before they even pick up the phone. And you know the ones that you can call and you're going to talk to somebody. And I swear, and you may, okay, you can, I'm taking this down in a different direction, but I swear that you can press 1, 2, or 3 and you get to the same person and they still don't know why you called. Sometimes I think companies seem try to be bigger by making you pick an option, but you get somewhere and they don't know why you put the number in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I think the live answering allows you to be responsive to your customers' needs because it's an interactive flow of information, and you don't get that in a voicemail or an IVR situation. So agents are trained to be professional, courteous, and friendly. They're trained to get the information correctly and get it back on a timely basis. And there's a huge advantage to that, and people like talking to people.
Yeah. So, okay, when you talk about people like talking to people, the brand, when it's appropriate, is there a way that you would say that it is more appropriate to have a live call center like yours answering a business's phone versus where it's okay to use the phone tree?
Yeah, I think it depends upon the company, it depends upon the industry that you're in. But typically, if you want to have a customer-centric response to your customers' callers, you're better to have a person who's there answering, knows what to do with the information that they have. Our job is to answer that phone on a timely and accurate basis, answering it within 1, 2, or 3 rings, 4 at the most. Then our job is to get that information accurately and then act on that information. What a lot of people don't like is if they leave a message in a voicemail, they may not get a response for 2 or 3 days, sometimes immediately, but not often. And so what our job is to get that information, and we can text it, fax it, email it, call the person, whatever the appropriate action for that company is. So it gives a lot of flexibility on people doing business on a timely basis.
When you talk about you're getting people the information, I mean, is it just a call center where you're only then transferring people? Or do you guys have, I mean, for lack of a better term, almost like a manual by which to also solve frontline problems?
Yeah, in the telephone answering service side of our business, typically we're getting pretty straightforward information: the name of the caller, the phone number, what the message is regarding. On the call center side of our business, we're doing all types of different projects, technical help desks, where we have a protocol that we follow in answering questions, things like seminar registrations, warranty registrations. So we have a lot of information, and we become that client when the call comes in.
And I would think that for, let's say, a small business, I mean, oftentimes that could be much more cost-effective than hiring potentially 3 or 4 people to answer the phone when it's ringing and sit there when it's not.
Yeah, we're 24/7 every day of the year, and so
it's 24/7, 365.
That's right. That's right. And so we are always there to answer the phone, and it's for a very small fee compared to what it would cost to get a receptionist and staff at 3 different shifts during a 24-hour period.
Sure. And so when people go about doing this, what do you think the biggest advantage by having that, having somebody answer the phone, having it be friendly and courteous, the message, what does that say about a business? I mean, as far as the branding perspective?
Well, I think it says that they really care about their customer. They really want to give their customer an interface, that they want to respond to the customer's needs, that they want to provide the flexibility of having a person there that can kind of go with it. A lot of times we answer emergency needs. You have to have a person. You can't handle an emergency response or a disaster recovery with voicemail or the other ways that you can answer the phone. So to me, it really shows that they're very concerned about the handling of their customer.
I would agree with that. And again, I just go back to the companies, and everybody out there knows, the companies you call, that you're upset before you even dial the first number. And that doesn't seem like very good branding, right? I mean, that would be the epitome of they're irritated before they even talk to us.
Yeah, and you get the situation, a lot of people don't like to know that their calls are outsourced overseas. Sometimes you have language barriers, you have cultural barriers, you have privacy issues where your information is floating around somewhere where you wish that it wasn't. And a lot of people really don't like to have that feeling or that situation when they're taking important information and they're wanting to talk about it over the phone. and they want to be helped. And if you can't be helped immediately, then that's very frustrating.
Do people tend to, I mean, I guess, does it almost feel seamless? I mean, if you were to call a company and you guys answer, does it feel seamless?
Yeah, our job is to answer it as if we're that company. So we answer with that company's name. We have a plethora of information about that company and how they want it handled. And so we may handle a call for a medical practice, and the next thing we're handling a call for the local pest extermination office. So we're used to wearing many hats.
Yeah, well, Mike, certainly sounds like something that is interesting for businesses of all sizes. As, again, if they want to brand themselves as being available, they can do that without actually staffing full-time. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, Mike Labaw, president and founder of Sound Telecom Call Center and Answering Services. When we come back, we're going to take a little turn and head back to our regular programming, all about real estate. And Jared Frazier is going to join us. And we're going to talk about some reasons to invest in short and long-term rental properties, kind of in the same way it might be time for you to invest if your business isn't answering the phone. We'll be right back after this break.